Assalamu alaikum to one and all. Uh, I have been given this topic, and yesterday only I was told to speak a little bit about this. It's medicinal and aromatic plants with nutraceutical properties. You all must have been, witnessed these presentations for the last 5 days. I guess you must have idea of medicinal and aromatic plants. But as you are students of forestry background, botany or life science students, you must be knowing that there is number of flora which do exist in every latitude, longitude, or aspect or slope, because there are a number of locality factors which do define the distribution of this plant species. Fine, it can be any sort of flora, it can be any type of fauna which do exist around a globe in different countries. It can be continent, it can be country, because variation in these four factors, which are known as locality factors, your climate, your adaptive, your topographic, and your biotic factors, they do influence the distribution of the plant species. They do influence the chemical profiling, the properties which a plant do possess at one location. Like lot of you must have done an experiment, because when we do chemical profiling of a plant from domestic location or from the wild location, the variation in chemicals do exist. It can be either in the terms of quantity, it can be either in the terms of the structure. जो भी कुछ उसमें चीजें होती है, there is a variation, and that variation is brought in that plant by different locality factors. Fine. So it can have effect of aspect, it can have effect of altitude, it can have effect of longitude या location, जो भी कोई चीज उसमें exist करती है. ये जो हमारी wild edible species होते हैं, या wild edible species, it can have any part of this plant can be used as a medicine, it can be used as aromatic part, it can be used as medicinal, or it can be value added, it can be used for an entrepreneurship development. So these plants, these wild edible plant species, yeah, wild edible fruit species, normally they are not domesticated, nor they are cultivated on a large scale, but they have properties in equal or at par with the plants which have been, जिनको हमने चेक किया होता है, जिनके proper, like अगर हम J&K की बात करेंगे, हमारे पास तकरीबन we have 25 species which we have cultivated here, which are wild edibles, but they all are being domesticated. But when we do check their chemical profiling, they have a at par sequencing of all those things which do exist in normal plants which are domesticated, या जिनको हम fruit को खाते हैं, या like anar, apple, या other things which are existing in wild as well as this. So these are those species. They are neither cultivated nor domesticated, but growing in wild and are however edible. Now अगर आप international जो unions होते हैं, you talk about UN, you talk about IUCN, FAO, because globally there is a lot of hunger, lot of population do exist in the world which do not have availability of food, or they cannot fulfill their stomach, they can only eat one meal in 24 hours, and there is a lot of hunger going on throughout the globe. So in 2009 जो UN था, उन्होंने क्या किया, UN Declaration of September 2009, उन्होंने ये कहा था कि हम इस hunger को reduce करेंगे. We'll reduce this hunger. It is not possible to vanish it from the earth, but it can be reduced somehow by adopting some measures. तो उस reduce करने के लिए there is only this, which is one of the free gift from the nature, which are wild edible fruit species, because they are available everywhere. लेकिन अब उनको खाना पीना किस तरीके से है, इसीलिए उन चीज़ों को पहले डोमेस्टिकेट किया जाता है, उनको स्टडी की जाती है, उसमें देखा जाता है कि उनमें क्या केमिकल कंस्टिट्यूशन है अकॉर्डिंगली, सो दैट अगर कोई भी उसको खाता है तो एटलीस्ट दे शैल नो इट्स बेनिफिट्स, या कब खाना है, किस बीमारी के लिए खाना है, किस फूड न्यूट्रिशियस वैल्यू के लिए खाना है. तो दोज थिंग्स और विल डिस्कस इन दिस प्रेजेंटेशन. एक होता है देयर अनदर ग्रुप ऑफ प्लांट स्पीशीज अपार्ट फ्रॉम दीज वाइल्ड एडिबल्स व्हिच आर अंडर यूटिलाइज्ड. अगेन वाइल्ड एडिबल्स की एक कैटेगरी है. There are wild edible species which are underutilized, लेकिन कुछ और species हैं जिनको अभी which have not been explored yet, but they do exist. इनके कुछ characteristic features है, like if you see these plants, they do exist everywhere. Everywhere in a sense depends on their local climate, local conditions. कहाँ पे उनका climate होगा वहाँ पे वो suit करते हैं. They are little bit hardy in nature, लेकिन उनका जो मैंने आपको बता दिया, जो nutritionist profiling या nutrient content उनके पास होता है, it is at par with other things, and they do fulfill जो hunger या जो poverty का जो issue है उसको to some extent they do fulfill that. So I was having a small project. It was before this I was working in northeast. I was in Bengal, so there we had worked on these wild edible fruits. We have assessed their nutraceutical properties, and based on that I speak a little bit. ठीक है, तो when we have made a review document out of that project. So in that, जो मैं आपको बता रहा था, UN adopted the Millennium Declaration of September 2009. So based on that assessment, we had surveyed the literature, and even a lot of states where we have went and we have done the field work. This paper is from the field work was done in Sikkim, and there are a lot of species जो सिक्किम का area है. Majority of the flora in context of these wild edible fruits. जैसे वहाँ पे मोरस एल्बा वो भी यहाँ पे होता है. We have robust species, वो वहाँ पे भी थे, यहाँ पे भी है. And there are other ficus की species वहाँ पे भी है. In Sikkim we had found them, and we have done the chemical profiling and nutraceutical properties हमने check की थी. So what I had told you, because of this nature's free gift which do exist based on the आपका जो factors of locality है उनका जो distribution है. So out of this literature what we have found from state to state, because until and unless you do not, जैसे हम in dendrology हम पढ़ते हैं या plant taxonomy में या systematic botany में, until and unless we do not document a plant, we do not know it. So first and foremost thing is that we have to document it. We shall have knowledge that this plant do exist in this region. So that is how and where your research as an MSc student or a PhD student, we do research, yeah, through any project. The research is being done, and from that research we could found that from different states, from different regions of the country, like Sharma et al. 2002, he has reported 647 species. They belong to 350 genera, remain as an underutilized or minor fruits in the country. Similarly, in West Bengal, Devatra 2002, he has reported 31 wild edible plant species from some region. Then again, these Khasi tribes in northeastern region, because there is majority of the people, they do depend still the traditional experience or the utility of these wild edible fruits. It do exist in northeast India compared to North India. वहाँ पे लोग इन चीज़ों का अच्छा खासा इस्तेमाल करते हैं, and this has been reported. In central Himalaya, wild fruits have played a significant role in the, you can say, nutrition and life of the people from Garhwal Himalaya. That because it exists in this, देहरादून के साथ नहीं है. Then again, based on this thing, like J&K, it is, as you know, it has a जो climatic variation है, and it's blessed with good soil आप कह सकते हैं, climate कह सकते हैं, topography कह सकते हैं, and that has again given the base to have very much good diversity of these wild edible plants, which have medicinal and aromatic properties, which have nutraceutical properties. So based on the topography of this land, we have number of plant species which do exist within the J&K and which have these properties and can be explored for possibility of entrepreneurship, can be explored for the possibility of chemical profiling. हमें पता चलेगा भाई किस चीज़ में कौन सी property है. Accordingly, that can be used as an ingredient. Accordingly, that can be used as a medicine, or accordingly उसमें value addition किया जा सकता है. First, जैसे मैंने आपको बता दिया, first and foremost is we shall know the plant. When you know the plant, that this plant has any sort of properties, then you can go for the plant part, whether its root use हो जाता है, इसका ये fruit use हो जाता है या leaf use हो जाता है. Then जब उसकी chemical profiling की जाती है, उस chemical profiling, until and unless you do not do that thing, then only you will come to know which type of chemical इसमें कौन सा ingredient है जिसको हम किसी food में item में use कर सकते हैं या इसको किसी medicine में use कर सकते हैं. So this is a list of some wild edible plant species which we have found from the literature, which do exist in Jammu and Kashmir Himalayas. इसमें आपका जम्मू रीजन में जैसे ये बेल है, एगल मार्मलस है. Then in Kashmir region you can see sweet chestnut is there, hazelnut is there, quince apple is there, fig is there, strawberry, sea buckthorn in Ladakh. Then जो walnut होता है, जो wild one. Then Chilgoza, which do exist in Kishtwar. We have Prunus armenica, wild apricot. We have Prunus ceracis. We have Prunus persica, Prunus granatum, rubus species, borus species. These are all, species. ये हम लोग खाते भी हैं, इनका fruit भी हम utilize करते हैं, but not, at the scale or at the level which they should have been, because lack of the knowledge आप कह सकते हैं, या अभी still they are unexplored. उनका जो chemical profiling वगैरह वो चीज़ नहीं हो चुकी है, so that they can be commercialized or bought into the market, or can be as used as an ingredient in different products available in the market. This was one of our another study where we have done the chemical profiling या nutraceutical properties. We have checked of some fruits from that region. जैसे आप इसको देख सकते हैं, we had Phytos roxburghi there, we had more species there, we had Rubus ellipticus जो यहाँ भी एग्जिस्ट करती है. तो इन चीज़ों की हमने प्रोफाइलिंग जो मैं आपको बता रहा था, because this thing is very much necessary. First and foremost, when you know that this plant या this plant part has any sort of properties, इसको क्या करना पड़ता है? We have to do determination या quantification of what chemical profiling. क्योंकि तभी हमें पता चलेगा chemical profiling हम कैसे करते हैं, how it is being done, क्या which instrument is used in chemical profiling. HPLC हम यूज करते हैं और GCMS. what is HPLC? High performance liquid chromatography, and GCMS is gas mass chromatography. Because until and unless जब हम chemical profiling करते हैं तभी हमें पता चलेगा, then we will come to know the ingredient, the percentage of whether it is calcium, whether it is magnesium, whether it is vitamin A, vitamin C, riboflavin, whatever the content is available within that plant. So that दो प्रॉपर्टीज होती है जिनको हमने बहुत जरूरी चेक करना होता है. देयर आर टू प्रॉपर्टीज. वन इज योर केमिकल प्रोफाइलिंग इन विच यू विल कम टू नो व्हाट इज द केमिकल कंस्टिट्यूशन ऑफ दैट फ्रूट, ऑफ दैट प्लांट और ऑफ दैट प्लांट पार्ट. एंड सेकंड इज जो बायोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटी एनालिसिस होती है. ठीक है, बायोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटी एनालिसिस में हम नॉर्मली वी चेक टू प्रॉपर्टीज, दैट इज एंटी माइक्रोबियल एंड एंटीऑक्सीडेंट. फाइन. वन इज केमिकल प्रोफाइलिंग इज मस्ट, वी विल कम टू नो व्हाट इज द केमिकल कंपाउंड. सेकंड जो बायोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटी एनालिसिस होती है, in that we check antimicrobial and antioxidant properties, because to check these two properties is very much necessary. Then only and only we will come to know इसकी resistance against microbes कितनी है. Fine. एक आपने chemical property check किया is, and second is antimicrobial and antioxidant. इससे हमें पता चलेगा what is the resistance of these chemicals या these plant species against fungus, against different microbes. क्योंकि whenever we will go for value addition, we will go for product formation, we will go for entrepreneurship. जैसे एनी प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट आप उसका डेट देखते हैं, मैन्युफैक्चर कब है और इसका एक्सपायरी डेट कब है. सो बिकॉज उसके बाद उसमें क्या हो जाता है, देयर इज पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ माइक्रोबियल अटैक, फंगस. दैट इज व्हाई वी हैव टू चेक दीज टू थिंग्स. सो दीज बेस्ड ऑन दैट उसके बाद हम जो वैल्यू एडिशन की बात करते हैं. और जो फाइटोकेमिकल्स हमारे पास होते हैं, दीज आर मेजरली ऑफ 4 टाइप्स. ठीक है, फाइटोकेमिकल जो हम चेक करते हैं, दीज आर 4 टाइप्स के होते हैं. इसमें आपके जो एल्कलाइड्स होते हैं, आपके टर्पीन्स होते हैं, आपके फिनोलिक कंपाउंड्स होते हैं और आपके सल्फर कंटेनिंग कंपाउंड्स होते हैं. बिकॉज किसी भी जो न्यूट्रास्यूटिकल जो कंपाउंड्स होते हैं या केमिकल प्रोफाइलिंग के बाद व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट दीज थिंग्स, फाइटोकेमिकल्स, वन इज आपका एल्कलाइड्स. यू हैव एनी इशू, यू कैन लीव, जा सकते हैं बाहर, नो प्रॉब्लम. एल्कलाइड इज देयर, terpene is there, phenolic compounds are there, and sulfur containing compounds are there. Fine. So जो terpenes होते हैं, sorry जो terpenoids होते हैं, ये it is one of the largest class of natural products which are composed of isoperenes. ठीक है, तो यही यूज हो जाता है. इट इज यूज्ड अगेंस्ट डिफेंस ऑफ दीज डिजीज रेजिस्टेंस. तो इससे हमें ये पता चलता है, बिकॉज व्हेन वी गो फॉर केमिकल प्रोफाइलिंग उसके बाद एंटीमाइक्रोबियल प्रॉपर्टी चेक करते हैं. तो उन चीजों में ये 4 जो टाइप्स मैंने बता दिया. तो हर किसी, चाहे अल्कलाइड की बात करो, टर्पीन की बात करो, फिनोलिक कंपाउंड की बात करो या सल्फर कंटेनिंग कंपाउंड की बात करो, तो दे हैव डिफरेंट प्रॉपर्टीज. लाइक सम वन हैज डिफरेंट प्रॉपर्टीज अगेंस्ट रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ इंसेक्टिसाइड, फंगस या आपका माइक्रोबियल एक्टिविटी. तो लाइक फिनोलिक कंपाउंड्स, ये भी हेटेरोक्सल ग्रुप का होता है. तो इट इज प्रोटेक्शन अगेंस्ट सिट्रस. सो व्हेन यू नो दिस प्लांट हैज दिस कैरेक्टर या दिस फ्रूट कंपोनेंट हैज दिस कैरेक्टर, देन बेस्ड ऑन दैट citrus component you can use it as an value addition या entrepreneurship compound. आप इसको किसी मेडिसिन में, आप इसको किसी फ्रूट में यूज कर सकते हैं based on the quantity of that ingredient. Similarly, alkaloids, these are reserves in protein synthesis and act as detoxifying agents. ठीक है, जो alkaloids होते हैं, they act as detoxifying agents like आपका colchicine is there, choline is there. ठीक है, तो depends on the type of the plant, depends on the type of the chemical structure उसमें होता है. Similarly, जो sulfur containing compounds होते हैं, so they provide defense against microbes. So 4 things जो हम chemical profiling या phytochemicals में बात करते हैं. Fine. One is आपका alkaloid is there, terpenoids are there, then phenolic compounds are there, and sulfur containing compounds are there. So they have different properties. That is why these 2 things are very much necessary before going for any nutraceutical study या before going for any sort of chemical study या किस chemical या किस plant में क्या है. तो वन इज आपका जो हम करते हैं क्या केमिकल प्रोफाइलिंग, एंड सेकंड इज बायोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटी जो हम उसको डिटरमाइन करते हैं टू नो अबाउट योर माइक्रो एंटी जो फंगस प्रॉपर्टीज होती है, तो उसमें जो 4 कंपाउंड्स होते हैं दे प्रोवाइड यू ऑल दोस थिंग्स. तो बेस्ड ऑन दीज थिंग्स जो हमारे पास विच द लिस्ट ऑफ द प्लांट्स विच वी हैड डिस्कस्ड अर्लियर विच डू एग्जिस्ट इन J&K हैविंग यू नो द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ वाइल्ड एडिबल प्लांट्स या अंडर यूटिलाइज्ड प्लांट्स, दे डू एग्जिस्ट. आप लोगों ने खाए भी होंगे बट स्टिल विल टॉक अबाउट देम. ये जो वन इज प्यूनिका ग्रेनेटम जिसको अनार दाना बोलते हैं, इट बिलोंग्स टू फैमिली प्यूनिकेसी. इसके जो राइप फ्रूट्स होते हैं दे आर कंज्यूम्ड फ्रेश, दे आर यूज्ड एज यू नो मटेरियल इन द ड्रिंक, जैम एंड जेली. जो इसके ड्राइड सीड्स होते हैं दे आर सोल्ड एज अनार दाना विच इज यूज्ड जो सॉस में यूज होते हैं या चटनी मेकिंग में यूज हो जाते हैं. एंड जो फ्रूट होते हैं, जो फ्रूट रिंड्स होते हैं, दे आर वेरी गुड सोर्स ऑफ नेचुरल डाइस. और इट्स ऑल्सो यूज्ड फॉर ट्रीटिंग डिसेंट्री, टेपवर्म्स एंड एनीमिया. जो इसका अगर आप केमिकल कंपोजिशन देखेंगे जो फ्रूट का द एडिबल पोर्शन इट कंटेन्स अराउंड 58% एक्सट्रैक्टेबल जूसेस. इसमें इट्स हैविंग गुड कंटेंट ऑफ पैक्टिन. जो एडिबल पोर्शन अगेन इट कंटेन्स, इसमें शुगर्स होते हैं, प्रोटीन, विटामिन्स एंड टेनिन कंटेंट ऑफ एडिबल इज 12.67%. ठीक है, तो ये सब चीजें बेस्ड ऑन दीज थिंग्स ये चीजें इसमें अवेलेबल है. नाउ बेस्ड ऑन द मार्केट या कौन सा प्रोडक्ट अवेलेबल है, ये कहाँ इसको आप डालना चाहते हैं, वेदर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ जूस, वेदर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ जेली, वेदर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ जैम. सो दैट विल डिपेंड ऑन द टाइप ऑफ प्रोडक्ट यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग या क्या चीजें आपको जरूरत है. These wild pomegranates, they are consumed either raw in the fruit salads or with additional flavored enhancers, and can be preserved and processed into value-added products like आप देख सकते हैं एरिल्स आर देयर, जूस, बेवरेजेस, वाइन एंड इंटरमीडिएट मॉइस्चर प्रोडक्ट्स. तो ये some products which are available in the market जो इस जूस से या इनके जो प्रोडक्ट्स से जिसमें इनके इंग्रेडिएंट्स यूज होते हैं, तो they are available which you can find in the market. सेकेंड इज आपका अंजीर. देखा है कहाँ है? हैव यू सीन दिस प्लांट इन द फैकल्टी? कहाँ पे? We have also prepared one nursery out of जो नीचे आप जाएंगे there are around 50-60 plants in our division we have prepared that. तो इसका नाम है it changed अभी इसका कहीं पे आप देखेंगे in literature it is Ficus palmata. Ficus palmata वो भी यूज हो जाता है, सिनोनिमस ये भी है Ficus palmata भी, क्योंकि लास्ट ईयर वन ऑफ आवर स्टूडेंट हैज that Nida she has done thesis on that. So from literature we could found that Ficus palmata was more you know named जो literature में available है than this. I'll show you that also. इसकी आगे ये जो इसका the product which is available in the market जो आप लोग खाते पीते हैं डेली रूटीन में, have you seen that? Dried इसके वो जो उनको क्या बोलते हैं? In the dried form it is available in the market here in Srinagar everywhere. So you can say जो fresh fig जो fruits होते हैं they have around 84% of pulp and 16% of skin, and you can see this you know chemical composition of this plant. It has good amount of protein, carbohydrate, fiber, calcium, then among the vitamin A, thiamine and ascorbic acid. You can see because based on this percentage is very much necessary, because then only you will come to know what are the ingredients, what is the composition of this particular fruit or a plant, and accordingly you can move ahead with its utilization. These are its based on that chemical composition the uses are laxative properties, then it's used as a relief against sore throat, then swollen gums and tumors. The leaf decoction is taken as a remedy for diabetes. So these are different properties of its medicine which have been available in the literature, which have been used in folk medicine, or you can say in English medicine from time immemorial, and these things do exist there, but still they are being used traditionally in Kashmir as well. These are some of its products. I read somewhere because they are used in this chutney making it. This is fresh cutting of a fruit, and these are dried ones out of this fig. Then after one more underutilized or you can say wild existence is your jungly badam, जिसको bitter almond भी बोलते हैं. There are two, one is sweet almond and one is bitter almond. This is its this bitter almond. It has amygirdlin, which जो हमारा जो sweet almond है उसमें इसका quantity बहुत कम होती है compared to this one. And this is this chemical composition: carbohydrate, fiber, fat, vitamin E, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium. You know the content या portion या property varies because it's not possible to have all the ingredients of same quantity in a fruit. So the percentage of all these things do vary. Talking about this bitter almond, उसकी जो the oil is used in cosmetics, medicine, and flavoring of food items. And you talk about, because whenever we talk about the entrepreneurship, it is not necessary to have those products only. So the wood of this is, plant is used in carving and even fuel wood. So those are also the basis which you can use a plant for this entrepreneurship development. These are some of the products derived out of this. These are the almond oil based components, chemicals, I can say medicines, MAPs available, in the market. There are some plants which we have discussed earlier, and some they are not, in a population to the extent which others do exist. But there is a possibility which have been grown. They say the zaitun we have grown here. So there is possibility these plants can be grown and they have adapted well to the conditions of J&K at different locations. So these plants, similarly, this one is also sweet chestnut. It can be commercialized. It can be grown under controlled conditions first. That it can be tried in the field. So I guess we can have successful venture out of this plant as well. So this is this chemical, you can say nutritional composition. It has good percentage of protein. It has around 16.7% of carbohydrate in it. Then coming to vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin K, B6, calcium, phosphorus, iron. The average yield of this plant has been reported around 20 kg in northwestern Himalayan region. That means in our region where we do fall. Again, जो इसकी जो general utilization है, it is used for its edible nuts, confectionaries. It's eaten, इसको roast किया जाता है. It's being eaten with that, and it can be converted into इसको आटा जैसा ये preparation भी आप बना सकते हैं. Then as an ingredient it can be used. This plant is to exist. इस locality में in Benhama and from that Badgam area, within this Ganderbal area, this plant do exist here. Jejifus marciana. There are 4-5 species of berry which do exist within this region. इसको Chinese apple भी कहा जाता है. इसका जो fruit होता है, it's the fruit, its drupe, and which turns from green to pale yellow. जो इसके ripe fruits होते हैं, which all of you must have taken. They are eaten fresh, and they can be converted into pickled or other sort of that material. This is the chemical composition of this Ziziphus marciana fruit. It has highest of this calcium 25.6 mg. It has carbohydrate of 17 grams. Then phosphorus, vitamin A, carotene, thiamine, citric acid. So all these things can be used as a medicine, as an aromatic component or an ingredient in any out of the products available from this. Then apart from this, the wood is used in different agricultural implements, tool handles, or making any sort of utensils. Then another species of this berry is Jujubas jujuba. This is again Chinese date. इसका जो chemical composition है, it has 79 kilocalories of energy. Then good content of carbohydrate, vitamins, thiamine, riboflavin, vitamin C, and the existing list you can go through it. Then in general the traditional uses which have been reported of this plant, it is used as a supplement against immune system resistance. Then it increases stamina, then strengthens liver functions, acts as an blood purifier. Then this plant do exist here in our field. Have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Wild apricot.
Yes, sir.
So there is a one agroforestry model of this wild apricot in the field. You can visit that. The fruit yields 86% of edible matter and are generally eaten fresh and can also be used for making jams. इसका जो fruit होता है, it's also used for making sort of those alcoholic drinks, which is utilized by the local inhabitants within those regions. Then it's used as a इसका जो wild apricot के जो kernels होते हैं, they contain about 50% of edible oil, and that oil is used for cooking and manufacturing of soaps, cosmetics, and medicine. Again, then you can say those sort of intangible uses. This it has a very good. The first ingredient I showed you, energy. It has very good, this energy value, calorific value. The wood is hard and durable and can be used for making of agricultural implements and other uses. The medicinal properties, you can see it. It's analgesic, anti-asthmatic, antipyretic. It is mostly used for these, joints and bones to relieve the pain. Normally, in our division, the Bhatt Sahab, he has done this experiment before, and they have, found its utilization very well among the inhabitants who have used it for the relieving of this pain. Then this is the chemical constitution of this plant in kernel and in oil. This one, again, rubus ellipticus, lasts for 2 years. One of the students from FU division, she has worked on this plant rubus. I don't know which is the species, but this rubus ellipticus. It is very, very important plant, a very important wild edible fruit. You can see it has the fruit का जो composition है, it contains around 64% of the juice material. It has total sugar of 10.93%. Then vitamin C, proteins, you can calcium, magnesium, and iron content. It is utilized very well in number of these cosmetics and number of medicinal जो हमारे plants use it for different preparation of different medicines. It is one of the main ingredients to be used among those preparations. Then one more species of this rubus is Rubus nivus. Again, it has you can see the nutritional value per 100 grams of edible portion, contains different type of nutraceutical properties. This is one more species of rubus. It is Rubus fruticosus. It is also known as blackberry. It is considered to be an astringent or diuretic tonic, and use it for diarrhea, dysentery, and hemorrhoids. Then Morus species, it is widely available. There are around 68 species of this genus, and highest have been reported. Around 24 are in China, and 19 of its species have been reported from Japan. In India, we have Morus alba, Morus nigra, Morus indica, Morus serrata, and in Kashmir, Morus alba and Morus nigra, two of the dominated species available. जो white mulberry होती है, its fruits, they are eaten fresh and made into different juices, jam, liquor या jelly. It's having variety of these medicinal properties, used against the treatment of jaundice and hepatitis. It has antimicrobial properties, antioxidant properties, and then it can be used in industry, silkworm industry, which जो उसका major base है. So based on this, we can have that sort of entrepreneurship as well. Then this is one more species of Morus nigra, Morus levigata, Morus serrata, Morus indica. This is the general nutritive value of these mulberry fruits. You can see good content of energy. Yeah, vitamins, calcium, magnesium content is there. Juglans. This is hazelnut, is one more species available in J&K, which is categorized among these wild edible fruit species having nutraceutical potential. You can see it's having the highest content of energy is within this. Then again you can see good content of fat, carbohydrate, vitamin A, and other nutrient percentage available. This is again its value-added products used as an edible and can be used as a raw, even roasted form. Then nuts are used in this confectionery is to make bakery and can be combined with the chocolate. Wild cherry, the plants are available here in our nursery. It's also very important plant for making these pickles and jam juices. Then wild peach, its plants you can afternoon if you are free you can visit to the wild fruit nursery. We have around 30 species are there. At least you can see the plant and fruit if available at present. Wild pears. Then I was talking about, and even some who are educated who know these chemical profiling structures and other things, they said at least we should come to know first what is available material, which type of nutrition does it provide, then only and only we can go for its usage. Then this is one more of the article, the livelihood generation from these things. We had reported out of these around 43 or 44 species of anti-FPs, which have majority of these, these are available in the forest. They are anti-FPs, but having good percentage of wild edible fruit species, having not necessarily fruit only, root, bark and other things are being used from there, and they were having very good income out of these, plants. Unko, whether they sell it directly or they made products out of it, but most of them they used to collect the material and then sell it to middleman. That was it. Rest with the product formation that is being done after that. This is again this is very good journal. It has NAS rating I guess more than 10, where we have done utilization of these plants. It covers mostly these wild edible plant species, unki utilization and how they are used ahead in their life. This is one I was talking about. There is this plant available in our nursery, wild fig. Recently we had presented this work in one of the conference. वहाँ पे हमने इसका nursery raise start किया है, but yet we have not gone ahead of that. Still we are on the nursery stage से उसको field में लाया है, but product formation and other value added utilization अभी नहीं किया गया है, but we are in the process of that. We will do that. So this is it regarding wild edible fruits having nutraceutical potential. The main aim and what we can conclude is that there is diversity, there is availability of these fruit species which do exist. It varies from region to region based on these properties. So what we need to do, there's need to have awareness about them, and then the people who are dependent on this shall come forward to have sort of those FPUs. Then we can have market preparation, we can commercialize these things, we can have small scale entrepreneurship level development in our region. Fine. So if you have any sort of query or questions, we can discuss that.
Sir, आपने इनमें से किसी की chemical profiling
यहाँ पे करते हैं. Yes, these people they are doing it. इसमें rubus की भी हुई है जो मैंने most of the plants they have been done. आपका wild apricot it has been done here. Rubus species is done here. Fig is done here. I guess 8-9 species उनकी chemical there are theses available in the library. You can go through that, the detailed composition and all this.
क्योंकि मैंने recently एक video देखा है उसमें देखा है कि जो ये है अनार लोगों ने उसके छिलके को dry करके उसका decoction भी देते हैं.
Yes, exactly. That's what when we talk about take the normal anar which have been domesticated and one is this wild.
That means every part.
Yes, it is normal thing. Every part of that fruit has some sort of medicinal value. That's what we are telling first and foremost is we shall know the plant, availability of that plant, and then fruit composition. Because if you will, here we do utilize them in very less quantity, but if you will visit Northeast, they do use these products very much. A lot of people, ethnic groups, जो वहाँ के traditional जो tribes हैं, they use mostly these things from the wild. But they eat it as such. That's why I am telling that it's necessary to have chemical profiling, properties. That we have to check that. So based on those things, we can then move ahead and prepare the product, use them as an ingredient. किसका कितना percentage होना है, कहाँ पे होना है? Because antimicrobial property is very much necessary. Because once you frame the product, but you do not know its expiry date or antimicrobial property, हमने बना दिया, then it can be attacked back by insects or fungus that will be more lethal. So those two things which I told you, chemical profiling and these antimicrobial properties, antioxidant properties, they are very, very much necessary. उनका measure करना, then based on these things we can move ahead. We can have entrepreneurship, whatever product development that is done later on, but you can use it as an ingredient. तभी इसको use किया जा सकता है. Anything else? Shall we wind up? Chalo, thank you.